In the new millennium, digital 2024 capitalist hellscape, society is both more interconnected than ever, but also more destitute and lonelier than ever. People are more irritable and generally showing more unflattering sides to them and oversharing online more and more, though maybe that's because Twitter is a cesspool, but I digress. Social media is our life outside of life. Games are our hobbies, but here we are. I'm going to preface this next section with a disclaimer that I hate these people. Okay, good. On the Joe Rogan podcast, his episode with Elon Musk describes how we're all cyborgs in a sense because we basically require internet connectivity to function as a society.
You're already a cyborg. Most people don't realize they are already a cyborg. That phone is an extension of yourself.
Heartbreaking. The worst person you know just made a good point. When you clock into work, you have to use the internet, whether to record your clock times, or to remotely clock in, or for a timesheet. If you're in a position where you are trusted to report your hours rather than physically doing so, e.g. fast food or retail. In an environment and social system where connectivity is practically forced, it's a rare phenomenon than ever to not be actively online. In a time where people make fun of current events and make constant jokes about things like 9/11, the military-industrial complex, the Industrial Revolution and its consequences being a disaster for the human race, or our various government agencies, sometimes it really does seem like the solution is to live off the grid. But how is something like that even remotely possible? All of your info is known and stored and sold, either in a database or some kind, what have you. So it's not really a matter of I want a phone, it's now a matter of I need a phone. But what is someone to do if they don't have a one? I mean, yeah, I guess you could fulfill many of a phone's capabilities with a computer, but once again, it's not totally feasible to run around with a computer as your phone, although it can happen. I don't know if you've ever lived without a phone, but that shit is hard to do, man. Recently, I moved back into my room at college, and I was having a little bit of an issue. Now, I'm staying in a rather old building, where sometimes an outlet or two might not work, and is a little dated on account of being all two-prong. I don't know if you know, but sometimes two-prong outlets don't do well with consistent power, and so when I went in to plug my Samsung phone, it did not charge. Code red ensued, followed by panic. Cue me trying multiple outlets, different cords, different chargers, all to no results. I made some texts, sent some emails, and all of a sudden I was found on my college campus without a phone. I'm kind of a big deal this year, and I'm in a position where I kind of require the use of a cell phone. So there I was for a week, going places I needed to, hoping I was on time, hoping that anyone who needed to get in contact with me could just do so via email. I kind of said it earlier, but we require phones as a society. If you're a student in higher ed, it's assumed you have one. It is assumed you can do your work via whatever means necessary with said connectivity. Things in our society are not built for paper and pen, and whether that be for the good of the environment or what have you, it still certainly seems like our environment hasn't really gotten better from that. And now we're back to the digital versus physical again, which is something I could go on far too long about. In stores and restaurants, sometimes if you have to use card or cash, you might be charged convenience fee on account of said business not having one or the other, or not wanting to accept one or the other. What the hell? So what did I learn over my week of no phone? I learned that Instagram and social media kinda ain't really shit, and people are still weird in real life, but nothing is ever that serious. I became closer to some of my friends on account of not being able to doom scroll while talking or hanging out with them anymore. And I kind of just had to raw dog any event I attended. I also learned that I really missed music, and not having access to my streaming platforms I regularly use via my phone while I go about my day really ruined my vibe. But on the other hand, I felt less wired, and I felt like I was a little freer, more alert, more perceptive, but not in a paranoid way, in a way of like, I'm living life and things are okay kind of way. It also doesn't help that despite my phone breaking, I was doing excellent that week, but that was the only bad thing that happened to me. In conclusion, I think losing a phone sucks. If it's the only bad thing happening to you that week, it might not be too bad. A nice break from the constant being wired and locked in and interconnected through the internet can do you some good, maybe even lower any paranoia. So overall, I would rate my phone breaking and having no phone for a week a good 3 out of 10. Do you love it? Do you hate it? What would you rate it? This has been a Dank Pancake classic. Thank you so very much for watching. Like and subscribe, gang gang.